Welcome, episode 164 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going over the prelims. And if you clicked on this video, go ahead and hit subscribe because if you're here watching a video of us talking about the prelims, you're our kind of guy. You're our type of fight fan. We watch every single fight on every single card. We're one of the only shows out there talking about every single fight on every single card. And I love betting the prelims too. It's like getting acquainted with prelims fighters as a fan. I mean, there's really nothing better. It really the future of the division is fought on these prelims. Like at one point, Conor McGregor and Max Holloway fought on a prelim. So it's like there's a lot of reasons. If you really, really love this shit, you should be watching the prelims and you should be watching our show because we're the only show out there talking about it.
Yes, sir. Conor McGregor, shout out to you. Fought, I do believe, I know Marcus Brimage, his first fight in the UFC was in the prelims. I want to say he also fought Poirier as a featured prelim back in their early days.
I think you're right, man. And man, speaking of futures of divisions and stuff, I mean, no division needs a future more than women's bantamweight.
Oh
And I
God.
wanted to be excited about this. So every time I watch a women's bantamweight like prospect fight, there's like this hopeful optimist in me that I'm like, all right, maybe just maybe somebody will emerge from this that makes this division not suck. And in a way, that kind of happened. For both girls missed weight. So it's like this, like, it's just like, all right, if you guys aren't taking it seriously, nobody's taking this division seriously. Clearly, y'all aren't, right? So it's just like, what do you want me to care about this? Do you want me to like you guys don't care about it? You want me to care about it?
Bro, I also wonder, like, with a lot of these female fighters, especially when they're like Nora Cornoli, for instance. Cornol, 5'7". Hey, you know who else is 5'7" and makes 135 with zero problems at all? Cody Garbrandt. You know who's 5'7" and made 125? Cody Garbrandt. Now, I know, male, female, whatever you want to say, but, like, dude, I feel like some of these women, like, don't even try to cut weight.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's a bad look for sure. But coming to this one, we got undefeated Melissa Mullins, ranked 15, which I had no idea she was ranked 15. I think she was like 1-0 in the promotion. This division's in shambles. Minus 335 favorite. Nora Canol plus 280. Also, I think 1-0 in the division. And like honestly, we got to kind of shine our wheels
Yeah,
here.
I was about to say, we gave out Cornola as a dog that was an option, especially for the value.
Yeah, and like I mean, we didn't bet it, and we didn't make it our official dog of the week. But we told you this was basically a pick 'em. We have no idea why Vegas set this money line at what it is. Like we pretty much saw this one. This isn't the fight that we chose to bet on, but like we told you that this line was off, which is why you should watch our betting show and subscribe. But yeah, we were kind of all over this one. I'll say Cornell performed even better than I thought she would. I thought it was kind of a coin flip. She ends up winning by knockout. But yeah, man, I'm kind of high on Cornell, except for the fact that she missed weight. Like, if she can figure that out, I mean, bro, I moved her all the way up to 13 in my power rankings. Now, that's not saying shit. It's almost like a heavyweight power rankings where there's like 10 real fighters and a bunch of jabrones. But
she said something about Melissa Mullins messaging her and asking if it could be a catchweight 140, like last minute. And her essentially saying, like, okay, sure. So Cornell played it off as though, like, oh, I could have cut down. It was only a pound and a half over for her. She was 37.5. I only needed to make 36. But it's like, she maybe could have cut down. But at the same time, like, that sounds like a cop-out answer because why wouldn't you get the extra 20%?
you said the wrong C word. It sounds like a Costa answer. It sounds like Paulo Costa.
Yeah, no shit. She loaded up on red wine before she talked about that answer. Dude, the first round, though, I mean, 10-9 Mullins, right?
Ooh, see, I had it very close. I went 10-9 Cornell, man. Like, Mullins got the takedown, but she got reversed. Didn't really, in my opinion, win the damage battle. So if you got the takedown, but you got reversed, lose the damage battle. I don't know. Maybe I'm lawyer balling my way to a Cornell 10-9 here. I don't know what's your thoughts on that. What did you really like about Mullins' work there?
I just thought neither girl did really any damage that was considerable. I guess that's what it was for me, just overall lack of damage. And Mullins, I thought, controlled more of the round than Cornell. I know she did reverse the position, but I think Mullins had 3 minutes 20 seconds of control time before getting reversed.
See, I thought Cornell won like the boxing stand up exchanges at the start of the round, and at the end of the round she got some pretty decent clinch knees off. But you're right. I mean, that's pretty minute what I'm talking about. It wasn't a ton of damage.
Well,
But
and
so yeah, I mean,
to paint a good picture of it too, one judge goes Mullins, two judges go Cornell.
fair. Yeah, I think we illustrated kind of how that round went down. And then round two, no scorecards needed. We get a knockout, a knee to the liver, followed by a head kick and some ground and pound. Like, bro, that's why like I'm pretty high on Cornell. Because and that takes place 3 minutes and 6 seconds into the second round. Because like how many bantamweights get finishes here? Like Vieira, decision merchant, Dumont, decision merchant, Bueno Silva, a lot of decisions. She'll occasionally get a sub. Carol Host, bet the over. I mean, I know she's coming off a finish. Plenty of decisions on her record. Chelsea Chandler, decision merchant. Yana Santos, decision merchant. I mean, how many bantamweights can like violently get a girl out of there? Like, it's not many. And so just the fact that Cornell, it's almost the same logic I said about why I'm high on Brendan Allen over like a Cannonier or a Vittori. It's like she can get people out of there, which not many women's bantamweights can. So I'm like, that in and of itself like gives me reason to be excited.
Bro, I'm at the point where like I'm convinced that the girls that are cutting like weight hard and like trying to gain an advantage, Tatiana Suarez for example, girls like that, they're getting finishes. I just think there's like a big mental switch in the women's bantamweight division that like these girls aren't killers.
But I'm saying I think Cornell might be, which like makes me kind of.
But then she's
It
not.
makes me kind of want to
She's
shovel
not
some
making the
coal.
weight. Like that's my concern is like I love it whenever she doesn't cut the weight, but if she actually cuts the weight, and that is the part of the cut that makes her feel groggy or slower, I just don't know. Like I hate this division. It's just decision merchants.
It is, but this is why like the one girl who's not like I'm gonna kind of get behind. But
Yes, but Melissa Mullins also I don't think is anything special. Granted, it's 15, but I just think the division sucks so bad.
I think we're kind of doing the thing where we're saying the same thing. Like, you know what I mean?
I guess the way I
I'm
look
not
at it is
disagreeing
like,
with anything you're saying, bro. Like, I'm not disagreeing.
yeah, fully. Yeah, it's like if Kayla Harrison can make 135, I don't know how in God's earth she will, but if she does, there's not a woman in the UFC that can compete with her.
Actually, bro, I thought the same thing, and I don't know if we want to say this for the betting episode or not. I was looking through Kayla Harrison's like her topology, and it's like the girls she's lost to are not world beaters. I'm kind of out on Kayla Harrison, to be honest.
She's also
like,
fighting though at
the
155.
girl she's lost to. There, pull up her topology. She has a loss a while back. I think she only has 2 losses, but I forget the first. Obviously, one's that Pacheco girl. Who's the other one? It's a name we recognize that I'm not impressed by.
Oh no, she only has one loss in her career, the Larissa Pacheco decision.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Scroll down.
No, I'm looking at it. She has a judo championship loss.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm
Her
tripping.
topology shows 2 L's, but 1 is judo.
But who is it to?
Myra Aguiar.
All right, I'm tripping. I thought I saw something else. Yeah, never mind. But we'll keep it pushing. We'll save that for the betting show. Up next, we got middleweights. We got Dylan Budka, 24 years old, making his debut as a slight favorite, minus 135 over Cesar Almeida, 4-0, but with an extensive kickboxing background, which includes a kickboxing win over Pereira, also 2 kickboxing L's to Pereira. But we'll keep it pushing. Plus 115.
Hey, I just want to say,
36 years old.
you and Michael both say it like 2, win over Pereira, 2 losses to Pereira. You guys, and Michael even still, I just got to take a quick aside. Him questioning me all week. Oh, you're saying he's going to be good at MMA because he beat Pereira in kickboxing once and lost to him twice? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying because I watched him in the Contender Series, and a guy that tried to grapple him for 15 minutes lost the fight trying to grapple him. He did good damage in the fight, and he also fought all 15 minutes. So I had more than just him being a world-class striker on my side.
No, fair. And once again, hats off to you, good sir, because you were all over this one. Me and Michael were pushing back on it. You were bullish. You used the phrase "bet the house." You actually put in a straight bet on this, a 2-unit straight bet,
Yeah.
and it cashed for you. Yeah, you. Honestly, I'll turn over the reins to you because obviously you had this one more dialed in than I did. So I'll own that. You were all over this one, buddy.
So essentially, breakdown for me is Dylan Budka used to wrestle at heavyweight in high school. Was like a really good folk style wrestler. Folk style does not translate to MMA, and also he's down now 80 pounds from where he was in high school. So it's a totally different type of opponent he's even facing off against. So it's like if I try to wrestle a guy going down to 185, I can't wrestle my style. It's not going to work there. So I already take that in consideration. Then he's fighting a guy that is a world class striker, and Dylan Budka can barely strike. So his only way to victory here is to hold him on the fence, get takedowns, hold him down, snooze his way for 15 minutes. Well, he also only gets his takedowns 28% of the time he tries them. That's a terrible success rate. So I assumed, well, hell, if he misses one or two, he's going to be in a bad spot. And essentially, that is kind of what happens here.
Yeah. How'd you score round one? I mean, it doesn't really matter. We get a second round finish. Don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I gave it to Budka.
Yeah, so I did score round one to Budka. It was just the snooziest round of all time, though, right? Like, I mean, zero damage.
Not a lot of damage. Yep, for sure. And I gotta say, I mean, if we're trying to paint a picture with words here, it's a podcast. We do not have UFC highlight rights to show. So I gotta try to describe for you what happened, bro. It was like deja vu of Almeida Blades, right? Like basically, like almost verbatim copy and paste the Blades Almeida finish.
Bro, hilariously too, right when I get the text from Michael, this guy's supposed to get a KO, and I see him start teeing off on Budka in the shot, and Budka's not moving, and I go, you tell me. Because immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's going to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, landing good shots, like I said, very, very similar to Almeida Blades.
Also, are we going to note the amount of damage on Budka's face from the shortest shots of all time? Like, Almeida clearly can punch extremely hard.
Oh, for sure. Some elbows got in there as well. Gets the knockout 2 minutes and 13 seconds in. Calls out Chris Weidman.
I didn't.
I'm here for it. I'm kind of here for it. A, because I think Weidman needs some punishment for the Silva bullshit. So call me an asshole if you want to. And B, I mean, so Chael always talks about your job as a fighter is to get the fight that's going to get you the most money and eyeballs. That's the easiest to win. Like, that's your job as a fighter. And I think Weidman checks those boxes.
That's fair, man. Especially, can you imagine Weidman eating leg kicks from this guy? There's no way.
So, there's this MMA account. We all have, social media friends. Obviously never met this person. But, MMA Jasmine on X, on Twitter, she's been an early supporter of the Beefy Boys Breakdown, our X account. And, we always have back and forths on Fight Day. Cool girl. Shout out MMA Jasmine. Go follow her on X. But she tweeted out right after the call out, oh, what's up with that call out? Kind of a weird call out from a debut guy. And I made the point, and she acknowledged it and kind of, oh, good point, that Almeida's 36. Almeida doesn't have time for the slow build. And, Weidman is, a gettable fight. He didn't call out anybody in the top 10 or anything crazy, but that's a name value that gets him higher card placement. Getting a knockout over Weidman, you're on a rocket ship, even still today.
Also,
I thought it was a smart call-out.
It's going to work the exact same. I mean, it's genius, actually, now that I think about it, because, for Pereira, when he showed up to the UFC, it didn't matter what the hell he did. He had to win over Izzy. That was all anyone gave a shit about. Well, this guy now can play the same card of, I showed up, got a finish in pretty nice fashion, showed my power. I'm a world champion kickboxer that has a win over Pereira. I think I deserve to get the fast run. And it's how do you argue with the logic? They did it for Alex.
For sure. And he also gets a performance bonus. And, and he beat a wrestler, so he checks that box, right? Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was perfect. But we'll keep it pushing here. We got bantamweights up. We love bantamweights here on the show. Dan Argueta, plus 140, taking on the undefeated debutant, 24-year-old Gene Matsumoto. And, man, I thought, it's crazy. Argueta won, literally, what is it? 9 minutes and 58 seconds of this fight.
Bro,
Like,
it was crazy to me. Like the whole time, Matsumoto's getting walked out. Paul Felder's sucking him off like he's some sort of like Muay Thai legend, and he's a young kid, so there's no way that's possible. And it's just like, man, yeah, I fun first round, fun second round, but both rounds where I was leaning to Argueta hard until the last 3 seconds.
yeah, for sure. I mean, in the first round, Argueta got 3 takedowns. He got a reversal whenever Matsumoto got his takedown. Got some heavy ground and pound off. Um, and then in round two, once again, it was kind of rinse and repeat. It looked like Argueta was going to cruise to a decision. And then Matsumoto does his best Dustin Poirier impression and jumps Gilly.
I actually thought Argueta's like fight plan was beautiful. Like I thought he was executing it great. He was not giving Matsumoto any clean space to operate like Muay Thai heavy open hand striking. And Argueta was essentially neutralizing any sort of like knees or kicks by getting him with his back to the fence. So it was like, if you want to try to throw that knee up, I'm just going to pull your other leg out from under you.
When Argueta, man, he's a little muscle hamster.
Yeah,
He's so dense. He's so just compact. I mean, it fits his style perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that down on Argueta, to be honest. Like, I mean, Matsumoto gets the finish here, but I mean, like, so lost the vat. It was almost like Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva. Like, you won like 95% of that fight, but then you got choked out.
Bro, it was so tough too because like Armin Guillotine is what gets the finish at 4:59 of round two. And I was thinking to myself, like when he started to try and punch Matsumoto like 5 seconds before he went out, if he doesn't punch right there, if he just kind of chills and just stays still, can he survive the 6-7 seconds? Like if he just really relaxes.
I thought so.
I thought so
honestly,
too. Like I thought he went out because he was being too active right there.
doing too much. Doing too much. Yeah, bro. I mean, it's weird. I mean, usually a 15-0 bantamweight prospect, we'd be, grabbing the Jergens and ready to ball wash. But I'm just kind of, I don't see it with Matsumoto. Like, I'm just kind of not in. Like, for example, when I was doing my power rankings and I came up to time, I was like, do I like this guy more than Vinicius Salvador? He's the guy who almost killed Sopai with the flying knee. Like, give me Salvador.
Yeah, agreed. Like, yeah, I just
15-0, like we should be, I mean, usually with these kind of 15-0 hotshot prospects, usually we're all over it, shoveling coal. But like I said, I mean, he lost like 99% of a fight to Dan Argueta.
Yeah,
like,
this is one for me. Like looking back, I'm so happy that I had this as a no bet because it absolutely should be looked at like as for bettors. Even though one guy won by sub, and like for Michael, he bet under 2.5. He bet Matsumoto, and he bet by sub, and I think he parlayed them, like one fight parlayed them and hit all of it, and it was like, that's the luckiest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, no, Michael was a mad scientist in that one. He was cooking. He was cooking up some
white blue meth,
yeah.
like a recipe nobody's got. That shit was nuts.
Yeah, that was a crazy bet, but it paid off for him. Came out way better in the books than I did this weekend. But yeah, I'm just not like, I got to see more from Matsumoto, man. To be honest, we'll see another prospect on this card coming up at literally next fight. I don't want to give too much away, but hey, give me Victor Hugo over Matsumoto if we're talking bantamweight prospect. I like Hugo more.
100%.
Perfect transition.
I was going to say, yeah, let's keep it pushing because what's next for Argueta and Matsumoto could be heavily tied to this next fight.
Totally. I think you can match it up, just kind of treat it like a straight line bracket.
Winners, losers. I fully agree. I thought that in the moment, honestly enough.
Yep, for sure. Also, man, so yeah, up next we got Victor Hugo, minus 140, making his debut, who's originally supposed to fight Alateng Lee, I believe. And I was actually going to bet Hugo over Alateng Lee. Alateng Lee pulls out. We get this last-minute opponent change of another debut guy, Pedro Falcao, plus 120. Turns it into a no bet for me just because it's too much unknown. Debut on debut.
3.5
I'm
days
not going to bet that. Yeah, I was like, I'm not about to bet that.
Which this guy made the weight. So anyone that missed weight on this card that wasn't, or that saw Falcao make it, they can go to hell.
Man, I'm having a blank, man, because some fighter that I follow on Twitter apparently Falco's the coach. It's almost like a Diego Lopez situation. He's a grappling coach. And there's some fighter who's like well known, but Falco is always like a grappling coach, almost like Diego Lopez. Now, I don't think he's Diego Lopez by any means, but I'm saying he's a grappling coach at a gym. So that's kind of just like a little interesting tidbit. I wish I could remember who said that, and I'm sorry, I can't. But too much football and weed for this guy to remember that detail. Hugo taking on Falco, debut on debut. And man, I'm all over Hugo. I had it 30-27. One judge agrees with me. No, round one was very close. Falco does get the takedown and the knee to the head in round one. But I thought Hugo was piecing up Falco by the end of the round. He got that sub attempt that was like kind of just to stand up. Was it like a Kimura, I believe? And just to kind of like stand up, kind of used it to just get out of the position. I mean, Falco's tough. He walked forward the whole time. But I thought Hugo was just like leaps and bounds ahead as far as just like, I thought Hugo was firmly in control. Honestly, the whole time I'm like, damn, I should have just bet Hugo anyway. Like, Hugo was good, dude.
It's really wild because I did score round one to Falcao, but I have 2 and 3 to Hugo. Now, one judge has that exact scorecard, Brian Miner. One judge has your exact scorecard, 30-27. That's Chris Lieben, so shout out to you, which also the last time we disagreed and we're talking about scorecards, you agreed with Chris Lieben identically. So you've been matching up with an ex-fighter. That actually, to me, speaks highly of your ability to judge a fight. Now,
thank you.
Now, there is a judge in this fight that scores 1 and 3 to Hugo and 2 to Falcao.
That's just asinine. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Absurd. That's absurd. 2 was clearly bad. Hugo. Now that judge
for sure,
is Adelaide Bird.
God damn it.
Bro, what the fuck? Like, she's actually trying to cost people money. That's absurd. Because if she did score 2 to Falcao, we're looking at a split, or 1 to Falcao and 2, then we're looking at a split here. Like, she literally can be affecting people's money.
But it's just like, what did Falcao do in 2, man? He lost the striking. He got all his takedown stuffed.
Literally every single
one. Yeah,
he
walked forward. He walked forward and had a good chin. Like, hey, guess what? That's like the opposite of winning a round. Like, you're getting pieced.
Like, I swear she scores fights on forward pressure. And that's the tertiary measurement.
Yes. If nothing's happening. If it's full-blown Nami Yunus versus Esparza, like, that's when you default to that. Yeah, man. So, like I said, I'm all over Victor Hugo. I jumped Victor Hugo all the way up to, like, 46, which doesn't sound very high, but at bantamweight, like, I jumped him ahead of Jose Johnson, jumped him ahead of Vinicius Oliveira. I couldn't jump Raoni Barcelos. I wanted to because of the age, but Raoni's still performing. He's still showing up. I don't think he's, like, washed. Honestly, and that's how I would matchmake it. I know we talked about a straight line bracket, and you could totally do that. You can do Hugo Matsumoto. Give me Hugo all day in that one if they do that. But I think Hugo Raoni Barcelos would be sick too.
Interestingly enough, man, I'll say it like this: I think Raoni Barcelos way better matchup. But as far as like if Falcao fights Matsumoto or Argueta, give me Falcao just for the way that they match up, but also because I'm fully not sold on Matsumoto. But I will also say that like Argueta, unfortunately. The only way I'm picking him in any of these fights in those 3 matchups is if he fights Matsumoto again. I hate to say that for Argueta, but he's kind of the guy that's out in this situation because he lost.
Well, see, and I'm kind of out on Falcao. We were talking about this a little bit in our group chat. Like Michael was saying, "Oh, Falcao put up some good work and all that." I mean, it kind of makes sense from a guy who didn't give him a round. But like, I think Falcao's tough. I think he's like out of the right jib. Like. He walks forward. He's a dog, but I just wasn't impressed with like display any technique or like elite aspect of his game that like I can really hang my hat on. Besides, like, yeah, he walks forward. Yeah, he has a chin. Like outside of that, like I don't know what I'm supposed to like. Like even Argueta, bro. Like Argueta's strong as fuck. He can get takedowns easily.
I wonder if he wouldn't get choked out though.
I would take Argueta over Falcao.
I think Falcao.
Give me Argueta over Falcao. See, I don't know. I'm kind of out on Falcao. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but Give me Argueta over Falcao, personally, from what I saw last night.
Fair enough. You know what? I say we keep it pushing to the next bantamweight fight. We'll change genders and go to women's bantamweight.
Yeah.
But I want to shine our wheels
we'll go
on this one.
Yep. Oh yeah, man. Dumont by decision was our the prop of the week for us.
We just nail props of the week like split hogs. I think we got it at -110, so it's not like the craziest prop of all time because Dumont is -120 in this fight against Germaine De Randemie, making her return from 3 years and 10 months layoff, +100. I actually had a buddy, shout out Amok, text me like 5 minutes before this fight, and he was like, Dumont or GDR, I need a big one to ride. I told him I had Dumont on a parlay, and I felt really good about it.
Yeah, you had Dumont in a parlay, and you had Dumont by decision prop bet. So, yeah, we were all over Dumont. And, I mean, how hard is – I mean, I'll be real. Sometimes people overthink MMA betting because it's like, hey, you got a 39-year-old woman dropping weight classes, just had a baby and took 3.5 years off. Like, what more do you need? The fade gods are calling your name. Like, sorry, I'll be right back. Got to hit the barbershop because it is Fade City. Fade City. And Harrison is having some Oklahoma allergy attacks right now. But yeah, bro, I mean, like, if that doesn't have fade written all over it to you, then I don't know what to tell you. You're thinking too hard. If you're betting MMA, I mean, as a 39-year-old woman dropping weight classes that just had a baby and hasn't fought in 3.5 years, and you're getting -120 against her, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, not to mention, man, like, Germaine De Randemie, when she was 4 years ago at the top of her game, I'll say 5 years ago, she was so good. Like, I thought top 3, top 4 in the world. This much time off, that age, having a kid, so it's going to completely change probably the way your weight cut goes in your camp, I just would imagine. I think that, like, all those massive lifestyle changes and like, just time away from the sport all negatively impact my view of your fighting. And also just the longevity of your career at that point, especially at 39, man. I can't stress that enough. So for me, this was like not even being super high on Dumont. It was just auto-fading De Randemie. But it was also knowing that Dumont is a decision merchant. That's the only way she can win a fight. So for me, it was like, well, if I think De Randemie can lose or will lose, and I think Dumont can only win by decision, I got to get a little better juice on the Dumont by decision. And it cashed, so...
Yes, it did. Especially because this is one where we got fucked by Cesar Sportsbook because they gave us -150 on the money line. So the -110 seems a little bit better whenever we were getting -150 on the money line, as opposed to -120. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It wasn't like we took 10 cents off a dollar for that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, did you give any rounds to De Randemie?
I did. I gave round 2 to her.
Me too. Although I thought that was still a close round.
I thought. Yes, agreed. And now, if Dumont had done more ground and pound at the end of the round, she could have won that round. That's how close it was.
Yes, but I'll be real. I was rooting for your Dumont by decision prop. Oh, see, I was like so stoked. I was like, Dumont literally. I felt the same way the other week when I bet Ogden by decision, and he just like actively wasn't pursuing damage. Like, even though that Dumont lost that round, I was like, oh, this is real good for the by decision.
You saw the control, and you were like, oh, she felt the control. She felt it. She's just gonna ride the 5-minute wave, which is actually what she did. And
you could tell she like literally was not searching for a finish. Like, she like didn't even care about it.
You could tell she felt comfortable on top. Like, she was like, I'm just going to hold this position. Like, she ain't getting up. I'm not getting off. I'm not taking damage here. Yeah, it felt good. Felt good to be able to give that pick out to friends, get some cash flowing. Felt good to have it checked off the parlay, especially after Rodriguez got pulled from the card because her fat-ass opponent missed weight. I'm just like...
Which, once again, that makes us look good, too, though, because we were talking all week about fading the fuck out of Calvillo, and she can't even show up. And you know what I'm saying? She basically quit before it started. So, like, yeah, I think that was an accurate pick by us, too.
I'm also definitely fading the girl that's 9-6-1 in her career and is on a 5-fight losing streak. Like, she has 6 losses, but 5 have come in a row. Yeah, I'm fading that chick every fight for the rest of her life.
And didn't even make it to the octagon. So, like, I'm counting that pick that we gave out as, like, a win pick.
I don't know that she'll remain in the promotion, honestly, man. How do you lose 5 in a row and miss weight? in your 6th attempt, like I think that's just see you later.
Yep. And man, let's keep it pushing because this next spot I actually got kind of a lot to talk about. I got a bone to pick here.
I do want to ask you real quick. I mean, Dumont is number 11. Who do you want to see her fight next?
You know something crazy? I got kind of a hot take, and it mainly speaks to how dog shit the division is. So before you think I'm shining Dumont's wheels too much, I mean I'm polishing up an '08 Honda Civic the best I can here. Bro, I got her at 3 in my power rankings. I do. I got her behind Pennington and Aldana.
What about Chase
I mean, what you? Chase on at 9. I a little more active.
Chase on has a win over Dumont. It makes it kind of tough.
It does, but it kind of reminds me of the Allen Curtis logic. Like Dumont's on like a 4-fight win streak. I think I don't know. I feel you. I see your point. I just, like I said, it's more of a slight on the division than it is a, And when was that Chase on win? Was that 2020?
I believe it was 2020. It's 2020 or 2021, and it was at featherweight, not at bantamweight. 2022.
Which I think that. Not that far. I do think that weight cut favors Dumont,
and was a split decision.
It was a split decision. And I don't know. I like the trajectory Dumont's on. Like I said, I mean, you can't put her over Pennington or Aldana. I think, in the words of Chael Sonnen, the rest of these girls are interchangeable mediocrities. So, like, it's not as much of a ringing endorsement as it sounds like it is. But like, out of all these girls, I feel like Dumont's been pretty active lately. She's getting wins. I think she's like finding her path to victory, which cough is by decision. Go like that.
Every single time.
But yeah, bro. So I mean, I forget what your original question was, but I'm pretty high on Dumont.
Just where we saw in the division, the Chiasson versus Dumont. What you wanted next for? Honestly, I think like Miesha Tate would be fair for Dumont, or I could see them fighting Chiasson and her again because of the 2 hottest girls in the division currently.
Yeah, you could. I mean, has Dumont fought Carol Hossa?
I don't believe so, but it's almost like I think they'll jump Dumont more than that, if that makes, because GDR, like, not a ranked fighter, but huge name value in the division.
Huge name value. No,
like, yeah, for me, and like you have her power ranked at 3, I think the UFC might be seeing her the same way. I think she's getting a big name or a top 5 matchup next.
Like, bro, she's the only women's bantamweight that's even fighting like a complete schedule. Like, she fights 2 or 3 times a year, right? Like what other women's bantamweight can you even say that about?
Right, and the UFC could disguise it behind, like, if you chain together a win over, let's just say, GDR, and then Miesha Tate, and then let's just say she gets, I don't know who else, like Caitlin Vieira after that.
Caitlin Vieira, Yana Santos, somebody like that.
Or even Irina Aldana, like, or Mayra Buena Silva, because Buena Silva will be super old by that point. Like, if she can chain together those 3 wins, she's in the perfect time right now while the top of the division's aging out and she's aging in to like her prime.
That's what I'm saying. That's another thing too. Spot. These girls are ancient, bro. You got De Randemie, Pena, Holly Holm, Yana Santos,
Pennington ain't young.
Hell, Aldana's 36.
Mayra Buena Silva's 36 or 37.
Like, I think age is. I kind of left out my own description. I think age is another reason why I have Dumont at 3.
Yeah, honestly, this whole division, this just brings me back around full circle to like, how trash are the women that are like 28, like Juliana Miller, for instance. And I don't mean to like just pick single names, but it's like, man, like, you're young right now. Like, you should be able to beat these old chicks that are just gatekeeping. Like, I just don't get it.
Well, in all fairness, Miller's at flyweight. Miller's a flyweight, but point well taken. Point well taken. I mean, that's how I felt like Nora Canol, bro. Like, get it together. Like, if you can just make weight, you got a bunch of dinosaurs in front of you. Or like Melissa Mullins, same thing. To like Tainara Lisboa. I have faith. She could potentially like make this division great again. But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, this division's dog shit. Go ahead and introduce this next fight real quick. I got to take a piss. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. No, yeah, you're good. So me and Dominic ended up getting absolutely fucked on this fight. This blows a parlay for us. We got Walter, it's heavyweight. Walter Walker minus 230 taking on Lukasz Brzeski plus 190. Yeah, effectively, this is a very close fight, and I'm not going to say, like, sit here and die on a hill that absolutely Walker won the fight. But it is one of those fights where we didn't know a whole lot about either guy coming in, but what we did know about Brzeski was that he was in our auto fade can tier, and what we also knew about Walker was that he's Johnny Walker's brother, totally different fight style, but has thunderous power, and is honestly like a beast of a man. Like, when he gets his hands locked, you're going for a ride. Like, it felt like I was watching like a DC or Romanov type character as far as when he got his hands locked, you're going for a ride. So yeah, Dominic and I threw the minus 230 Walker. Vegas clearly had the confidence on him. We had the confidence on him. So yeah, we threw him on the parlay, and like I had said earlier, Brzeski auto fade cans. So it just seemed like one of those fights where, yeah, you know, kind of a younger heavyweight with a nice promise, a solid floor with a visibly high ceiling versus a guy that we just thought was auto fade can. So for us, it was kind of like a minus 230. Yeah, throw it on the parlay.
Yeah, bro. I had Walker on the parlay at minus 230, and I also had I literally went to the casino to bet Dumont by decision. Would have been a better decision to make. That's my whole reason I went to the casino. Granted, I work like less than a mile from the casino, so it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, and so I'm a Caesar's Rewards member because you guys build points for all these bets that we're placing. And we redeemed at those any Caesar's casino.
Nice.
And but they offer boosted props to Caesar's Rewards members. That's the real reason why I signed up. So like they'll offer like these super boost props, but only if you're a member. And so one of the like super boost options they gave me was Walter Walker. Any method in the first round finish was plus 300. Would mind you, Walker by KO prop was sitting at minus 110. So to get that's the value, right? Like so, like the value monster got in my ear, and I went ahead and did that instead of Dumont by decision, and I lost that one fair and square. I'm not going to bitch about that. Like Walter Walker I thought he was going to get the first round KO because I heard you talking about Brzeski auto fade can. That's how I viewed him. I thought Brzeski was not only one of the worst fighters in this division. I thought Brzeski was one of the worst fighters in the promotion. I was so out on Brzeski that it's almost like I didn't even need to know anything about Walter Walker. I was like, oh, he's fighting Lukasz Brzeski, bet. And so I lose the prop fair and square, right? But let's get to this decision, bro, because this fucked both of our parlays. Like, literally took money out of our pocket.
I do want to say one thing before we get into the decision and like how we scored it versus how it's scored by the judges officially. Is unfortunately for the Walker brothers, they make Chael sound very truthful in everything he has had to say about Brazil. I mean, dog, these guys both fight with 0 IQ. Like, they don't know where they're at in the fight or what positions they're good at or what they should be working for. Or, like, I continually kept, like, watching Walter, like, just have fucking Brzeski pressed on the fence. He'd be staring at his corner, getting instructions, and doing nothing. And I was like, all right. Oh, my God. Like, and granted, Brzeski's not doing anything because he's being controlled on the fence in those moments. So it's not like Walter's losing the position or Walker's losing the position. But it's like, dog, throw some damage. Like, you're huge. He's not that big.
Dude, Walker was honestly so bad, bro. Like,
so bad, Walker, dude. So strong. Like,
I want to know.
One of the strongest guys I've ever seen in the UFC. 0 IQ or technique.
What cans did he beat to get to 11-0, bro? He came in this fight undefeated at 11-0. Like he had to be fighting butchers and plumbers and like equipment operators. Like seriously, like I bet the fucking CDLs on his opponent's record are impressive. But like, yeah, no, I mean, how does this guy get to 11-0? Like, he reminded me of just like, so, you know, we hate Gaziv, right?
Yeah.
He looked like a worse version of Gazib, like an even slower, even dumber, even more boring version of Gazib.
You
Like
know
I
who
didn't know that
his
was possible.
his sparring partner teammate is Bogdan Guskov. So
We also hate, yeah,
right. As
fuck
soon as I
that
saw
Jew.
that and him in the corner, I was like, oh, fucking
Yeah,
damn it.
you're bringing Gustav to give you advice?
No, and that was the guy he was looking at for advice, so he's holding him on the cage doing nothing. And I was like, oh no, Guskov's teaching him how to fight like Guskov. Oh no.
No, I'll be right. I had a very similar feeling when because we rode that Damon Jackson hard this week. And I was like, oh, fuck, he's a Fortis guy. How did we let
Dude.
that slip through the
Oh
cracks?
my god, I saw that too. However, I will say
Alex Morono. I was like, fucking goddamn it, I always forget he's Fortis.
I was gonna say that too. The one thing I felt really good about in those two cases was Morono, huge favorite, and Court McGee, ultra fade, right?
Yeah.
Almost the same thing I had with like the Damon Jackson value, the fact that he was the underdog. It was like I have to fade what's his name? Hernandez. I had to fade Hernandez as a favorite. If Hernandez had been the dog, I don't think I would have cared as much about that line. But to see the guy I thought was the better fighter as the dog, I was like, even though your coach sucks and I hate him, I got to get this value.
No, for sure, man. But yeah, let's go round by round here, because like as much shit as we talked on Walter Walker, I still think he won the fight. Now, did he win it convincingly or epically? Hell no. But I do think he won the fight, man. And you know something crazy about my scorecard? I don't have the word close in my notes. I had a clear winner for every round, and I feel confident in my scorecard.
Yeah, I don't have close or competitive even in round one, and I have round one is Breshke lands clear on the feet. Walker has way more explosive power. Walker gets 2 takedowns and a ton of control time. 10-9 Walker.
And some good ground and pound, like some pretty heavy ground and pound.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was. It was weird because it was like they were such short shots, but they were like heavy.
They were heavy, bro.
They were heavy. They were super short, so they didn't look like it was like one of those like from our perspective watching like because we can see Breshke's face like getting kind of busted up from him. They're heavy. But from a judge's perspective, they're so short that if I'm behind watching from the back and I can't see the dude's head, I don't know that I'm thinking they're that strong. I'm just saying visual perspective.
No, fair. And I got to be real, man. Watching live MMA, like I've just seen low level shows, like, but like when I went to the Cage Warriors show, not Cage Warriors,
Rage in the Cage.
King of the Cage.
King of the Cage.
Fuck. Yeah. I had good seats. Like I had really good seats, and I was like basically cage side. It's hard. Like when they hit the mat, it's hard to see live. It really is. Like it really is. Like it's that changed my perspective on like judging and like the groundwork is hard to see live, not with that above camera angle. Now, so we both have Walter Walker round one. Now round two, sure, gave it to Breshke. He got the damage battle. He was able to get up from the takedown. He was fresher. He was faster. Sure, give that round to Breshke. I'm totally cool with it.
And even though he got taken down, he dominated the damage battle in round two. Like, I thought that wasn't close. So, yeah, Breshke round two, 100%. I thought it was a really clear 19-19. And from my perspective, I was super nervous going to round three because I thought Walker was going to fuck off round three, being so tired and getting beat up in round two. And he proceeded to not actually do that.
Could not agree more. Like, copy paste. Exact. Echoing those exact sentiments.
I do have that round three is competitive, but that Walker got back to his style of fight and enabled himself to win the round 10-9. Like, it wasn't like I was sitting here like, oh, maybe Breshke, maybe Walker. I was like, Walker, like, struggled a little bit in the start of the round, but then essentially worked it back to his style of fight, just like round one.
Yeah. Got 2 takedowns, had control time, advanced position, which he didn't even do in round one. He got the full mount, right?
And yes. When he got to full mount, I actually was like, oh shit, he might get the finish. Like, I was getting pretty hyped.
Yeah. And he doesn't win that round. Like,
so,
I mean, I feel you. There wasn't a ton of damage, but
so
holy
Walker,
fucking shit.
So every judge has the same scorecard here, which is even more shocking to me. All 3 judges have Walker winning only round 3. No one gave him round 1.
I know, bro. Whenever they said unanimous decision, I was like,
I
okay,
was like,
well, I lost my
yeah,
prop. I
1-3
was like, the
Walker, let's
parlay.
go. The parlay is
I was
eating.
like, the parlay's alive. I was like, I lost my prop fair and square, but hey, the parlay's alive. And then they said unanimous Bresky. Bro, I was pissed,
Bro,
bro.
I
Like I
can't
was
lie.
literally
Like, I
like,
was sitting here like, all right, like, fuck, that was. I was like mad at myself for betting on Walker, but I would like reason like being okay with it because I had it 29-28. Every judge had 29-28, and I was like, all right, like we're seeing it. It's like fuck, he won. That was stressful. Oh well. And then I hear unanimous decision Lukasz Bresky, and I'm like, I literally looked up from my computer. Was like, what the fuck?
yeah, no, like I was like, bro, I'm usually a good loser as a gambler. Like I usually rarely get like bitter and mad and like, it's called gambling for a reason. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. Like I'm usually not that mad about it. But to end my positive streak, I was on a 5 week green streak, and that this ends up killing a 4 leg like plus 1,000 parlay, and like it's just it's dog shit. Like I rarely am bitter. I'm rarely a sore loser as a gambler. Like you, I'm sure you could tell in our group chat. Like I was just a salty cunt the rest of the night. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Like I was so pissed, dude. Like that one got to me. I did not take that L well. Like I am mad, dude. I'm mad. This is the gambling gods. Like 2 years ago, I won a parlay on a bullshit Iron Turtle decision.
Yeah,
This is
me.
the
Yeah, me too.
this is the gambling gods getting me back, bro. Like that was a winning ticket. That was a winning ticket. I'm not even like I'm still bitter. I'm bitter. I'm bitter like an ex-wife, dude. I'm bitter on this one.
Man, the only reason that I am like not, I am bitter about it, but the reason I'm not like to my grave bitter is because I put Walker into my can tier as well. Like it's not like I moved Breshke out of it. I just added a can to the can tier.
Yeah, Walker sucks, dude.
Like they both
Like
suck,
I
and that's why I'm like, all right, like I lost a parlay on a bad decision, but at least the guy that I bet on isn't like a guy that fought a great fight and got fucked. Like he honestly fought a shit fight, but so did Breshke.
I think Dontel Mays and Jamal Pogues beat both of these guys, and that is not meant to be a compliment.
Fuck, man.
Like,
We bring the crochet boss out of PFL. He can probably beat both these guys. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
it's bad, dude. I'm so out on both of these guys. We'll keep it pushing, but sticks in my craw.
It's tough.
Sticks in my craw.
It's tough. The official parlay that we handed out. It was a 5-legger, but you would have got it at 4 because Rodriguez would get pulled for the fight not happening. You only lost this fight. I mean, and who lost the fight? Walker or the judges? That's what stings.
That's what stings. Like I said, I come out looking like a jabron, taking an L out the books, like potentially losing our viewers some money. And it's just hot dog shit, bro. Like that was not a bad pick to give out.
I will say,
we'll keep it pushing.
I will say for all the viewers at home, if you ran with your boy, I did. What is it? If it was $100, it'd be 150, 30 into 44, whatever that is. So, like it's not a total loss as far as our bets this week. I thought we gave out strong bets. We
did. But that's what sucks.
Yeah, it really fucking sucks to think like, oh man, instead of turning 30 into 44, I could have turned 30 into 70.
I would have been way in the green if this cash.
More than 70, I think even. Yeah, it would have been 75. Yeah. I would have turned 30 into 75. It would have been 2.5 times my money, which 2.5 times return is.
That's as good as it gets.
Pay my rent getting that sort of return.
You're cooking with gas. But man, let's keep it pushing to the welterweights before I keep crying in my beer about this bullshit decision. We got the ancient Court McGee plus 270, 39 years old, taking on Alex Morono minus 340. We got him at minus 300. So once again, Cesar was doing us right this weekend. Welterweight bout. One was clearly Morono, wobbled McGee with the right hand at the start of the round. Round 2, I did give to Court McGee. Because Morono jumped Gilly and it was close. He threw up an armbar attempt. It was decently close, but like at the end of the day, they didn't land. And Court McGee won the damage battle that round. Got on top, dropped those ground and pound elbows, which I do think the broadcast was kind of overhyping those ground and pound elbows. They were
A
not that
thousand
great.
percent. 1,000%. I actually had thought round 2 was close just because Morono battled back strong in the last 60 seconds.
You're right. You're right. Morono did end up like the end of the round. He was piecing McGee up on the feet, and then you add the sub attempts in. Like, was kind of a close round, but we talked about this before on the show. You throw up like non-joint damaging submissions, like chokes, that like it's not really inflicting damage. It's either like it's like a pass-fail test. Like it either worked or it didn't. Right.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
on a guillotine.
Non-compromising sub attempts. I can't really score too much for you.
It's like when Filio did it for Kayev, but he destroyed his knee. It's like, all right, that scores as damage.
Or like Lopez to Evloev. Same thing.
Yes, but it's like you fail a Gilly, and it's a pass-fail test. It either worked or it didn't. So sorry about it, Morono.
Shout out Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, shout out the Diamond. Don't be silly, jump to Gilly. But round 3, I bet Poirier loved this card now that we mentioned it, between Matsumoto.
All the Gillies, yeah. All the Gillies. There were so many.
Just at home stroking it. But
you know what I will say for Morono, and this like hammers home our point of just how bad of a coach Saif Saud is. And this is gonna sound crazy because like he gave him the right advice, like just stay standing in round 3, you're better on the feet, like quit trying to grapple, you're losing because you're grappling. That was good advice. However, when he's asking him in the corner, where do you want this fight to, or what, he says something like, where do you want to be right now? And Morono says, on the feet, like thinking like, yeah, like I just heard what you said, like I want to be standing. And Saif Saud goes, you want to be right fucking here. Right, this is where the fuck you want to be. And I was like,
yeah, that was so awkward.
God,
I remember, yeah.
Dude, I was like, he doesn't connect to his fighters. Like for them to be that far off, he has no connection to them. And I'm like, I can't bet on you in any fight that's meaningful as a coach.
For sure, bro. For sure. Now, round 3, I do think was kind of close, but I thought Morono, the right man, won. I mean, because McGee had some nice body work. He got a takedown late, didn't do shit with it. Morono was, winning the boxing exchanges, like punches to the head, some good body kicks. Overall, won the damage battle, won the round, but I thought it was pretty competitive. But yeah, the right man wins. Morono, 29-28. All 3 judges have it 29-28. I assume you do as well.
Yeah. 1 and 3 to Morono, 2 to McGee. Very similar to the way I scored the Walker fight. Just finally the judges agree with me here.
Well, and this is another one where when this was over and I went to adjust my rankings, I couldn't move Morono up.
No.
I think I moved McGee down like 1, but I already had him pretty low. Like, because Morono has the knockout loss to Chaos Williams, and that's who I have right ahead of him in my power rankings. I can't skip him over Chaos Williams. And I have him right above Tim Means, and I think Morono has a win over Tim Means. So, I mean, call it MMA math if you want to. He got knocked out by Williams. He beat Tim Means, and I have him sandwiched right between those 2 guys.
Okay, so I do have one thing before we wrap it up about Alex Morono and moving forward. He has, like, good footwork in the sense of he knows where he should be working his feet towards, but his feet are retarded. If you go back and watch, man, like, they don't move right. Like, he can only move either all of his weight back on his heel or all of his weight on the tip of his toes. He has no balance on his midfoot. It's super weird.
Well, the thing about Morono is, and we talked about it before, like we were wrong with our Buckley Luque breakdown, but we were saying Buckley like relies too much on his athleticism. Like Morono has no athleticism.
Bro, it's like it's visibly apparent he lacks athleticism.
Like he even just from looking at him, right?
Like
he has a little
stiff
muffin top.
And like his feet
like
don't work right.
Section's a little doughy, you know what I mean? Especially for a welterweight. Like, name another welterweight with a muffin top. Like, Morono low-key should probably be fighting at lightweight if he could, like, just get in shape. Like
1,000%. He seems like a guy that's super cerebral with zero athletic qualifications.
Yeah. Like, I think he'll probably end up being a way better coach than his own coach, Saud. Like,
100%.
I think he does coach a couple guys. Like, yeah, like, I think Morono will be a good coach. I think he could maybe be a good, like, actually, he's too boring to be on the mic, but I think he has a good MMA mind. Like, I respect him. but like, yeah, just zero athleticism. He's like the anti Joaquin Buckley. Like he's like everything. Like, he's like the antithesis.
Yeah, or Johnny Walker. Like Johnny Walker is all athleticism and zero fight IQ whatsoever. And Morono's the
Yeah.
exact opposite. Like he knows exactly where he needs to be. He just can't physically force himself to be there sometimes.
Same thing with like the Chaos Williams loss. Like I bet he knew how to beat Chaos
He
Williams,
literally got
but
out
just
athleted
like
and outpowered, outspeed. Like it was just all
yeah,
physical athletic traits. It had nothing to do with fight IQ, which is like we're saying, like that's the Morono like fade is like if he fights a guy that is athletic or has power, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And Court McGee is neither.
yeah, I was about to say, which ties into why we like, yeah, 1,000%. But yeah, that wraps up the prelims. I mean, good prelims. I mean, good card, honestly. Like for what this card was, for an Apex card with low name value, it was about as entertaining as it was going to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I loved this card. As far as name value, I hated it. As far as card placement, and I don't mean like fighter placement. I mean like any card that's placed before 300 is going to be dog shit because all I care about is 300. So that all being said, this card delivered.
It did. It did deliver. Like and subscribe and check out our betting video because, like I said, we gave out good picks. I mean, the Bresky decision was hot dog shit. I mean,
Only bad pick we gave was Trevor Peak.
yeah, that's it. And that was, like I said, I don't think anybody really, I guess Vegas did because they, like, I don't think most people were out there thinking, like, oh, Charlie Gamble's not that bad after all. Like, he's better than we all thought he was. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and to our credit, Trevor Peak, when we gave him out, was plus 160. He finished at plus 140. Clearly, people thought the same thing we did.
Yep, for sure, brother. But yeah, another fun episode, man. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe.